We're live. I'm here sitting in the darkness. All right. Welcome back to Scroll Sessions. We are here living our best life forever, hanging out in time and space. We thank you for joining us once again on this infinite scroll through the universe of the internet. Well, we finished the HBO series, The White Lotus. Season 2 was 7 episodes, 1 episode more than last season. And we finished those 7 episodes in 2 days, right? Probably less than 2 days. Well, no, probably 2 days. I don't know.
I think 24 hours.
Yeah, well, it was like a day and a half because we fell asleep on episode 7. We watched like all 6 episodes, and then we watched part of episode 7, the last episode, and then we fell asleep. But it was amazing. And it's interesting to watch the behind the scenes with the creator and director Mike White at the end, and he explains a little bit. He goes he goes a little bit deeper into the characters that he created for the show, and it was really cool. It was exciting. The finale was had a little bit of action in it, and we won't do any spoilers, but it was very pleasurable to watch, and it gets us going. It gets our blood flowing, and once again, it was a masterpiece. It was a masterpiece of film. Great edits. The editing is perfect. The shots of nature, once again, like shots in the ocean. The filming of the water and of the resort. This time it took place in Italy. Season 2 did, and it was amazing. So we watched that while we ate one of my favorite breakfast burritos that we've ever made. And we've made this breakfast burrito before, but we added a little twist to it today. We added some refried beans. And what brand is that again?
Rosarita?
Rosarita, yeah. Just the typical Rosarita canned beans that you find at the supermarket. And I believe that I told you guys about this in one of the other videos for the nacho recipe. It's the same ingredient. And it's the Rosarita. I always want to say Ramona's for some reason. Ramona, am I the only one? Tell me. And she said, you're not the only one, but you're the best, Bradley. Boom, boom.
Sublime in the house.
Yep, Sublime. I don't give a fuck what you punk rock purists, you curmudgeoned, contrarian assholes think. Sublime is amazing. They always have been, and they always will be. Rest in peace to Bradley Knoll. Rosarita canned refried beans. Now, usually, we just do sausage, eggs, sometimes onions. And then we fry that all up, and then we wrap it in a tortilla, and that's our breakfast burrito, right?
Rarely onions.
Huh?
Rarely onions.
Yeah, rarely onions. So I'm going to go through the whole ingredient list for you, okay? Since that's a popular segment here on Scroll Sessions. I started off talking about what we've been watching, what we've been eating. I find it interesting when other people talk about that, so I'm going to talk about it as well. So we love Jimmy Dean sausage, right? Which, once again, that's another ingredient that was in Kathleen's spaghetti. And it's that tube that you buy. It's like a tube of meat, which it sounds disgusting saying a tube of meat, right? But it's not. It's so tasty. It probably has just loads of sodium in it. It's amazing. It's beautiful. It's delicious. And I have loved this Jimmy Dean meat since maybe my teenage year. I remember my mom started making spaghetti with the Jimmy. I remember when she switched to the Jimmy Dean meat instead of just regular old hamburger meat. She used to just use regular hamburger meat. Then she switched to the Jimmy Dean's, and I could taste the difference. I'm like, what did you do to make this so phenomenally delicious? And that's what it was. It was the Jimmy Dean, that tube of meat. You've seen it. I know you've all seen it at the grocery store. So we use that meat and we fry it up, right? I had to start it off because Kathleen was busy. She was somewhere else, far away from home, and she said, "What do you want to eat today?" And I was like, "Breakfast burritos. Why not?" She said, "Could you get the meat started?" And I said, "Of course I could." So you pour some olive oil in the frying pan, and then the meat out of the tube is a messy business. Okay, I didn't really I didn't properly get this meat out. So I just like pulled it out in globs, and it got my hands all greasy and disgusting, and I was just like, how am I gonna, our trash can is inside the pantry. There's a door that you have to open that has a doorknob on it. You have to open that doorknob. And I was just like, I can't open the doorknob. So I had to get a paper towel, get in a paper towel, wipe my fingers off, and then wash them with soap. Excuse me.
I wondered how you did that because I knew it would be messy.
Yeah, I could have, if I would have cut it properly. I think that's the key is cutting the tube of meat properly. It's like a plastic tube that the meat is encased in. And I get a knife and I cut through it. And I cut through it as if I was going to make patties, right? The way that I cut it. Because that's what I'm used to. I'm used to making the sausage patties out of that meat. And I cut it that way, and I shouldn't have did that. So I had to like pull it out. It was like greasy Play-Doh. But I eventually got it in the pan. I got all the pieces in there, start frying it up. It immediately just smells like the best thing you've ever laid your nostrils upon. It's delicious. And I was frying it up, and then it's pink, and then it starts to turn brown. And by the time Kathleen got home, she added the eggs. I diced up the onions. It was really a collaborative effort, this breakfast burrito. It was really delicious. And I was thinking about that as we were making it. I was thinking about the collaborative process of what we were doing. I got a white onion, and I got this giant like Michael Myers style knife, and I'm dicing the onions, and I almost sliced into my finger today.
Yeah, that's true.
My fingernail actually stopped it from happening, and so thank God for that. I felt it on the fingernail, and I was like, and I pulled back before I could cut any further into my finger.
My heart stopped for just a split second.
Yeah, that's terrible if you ever do that. If you cut yourself while cooking, while dicing up vegetables and whatnot. So we put all that stuff. We put the meat in first, then the eggs, and then you stir it around so the eggs kind of get scrambled in the frying of it. And then dice up the onions. We throw the onions in, and then I had the idea. Should we put beans in? And I asked Kathleen, should we put the beans in? She's like, well, we have a little bit of beans left over from the last thing we made, which was probably the nachos. So we did it. So we put the beans in there, and it wasn't a lot of beans, right? But it flavored it up significantly, I think. So yeah, that was our ingredients. And then Kathleen warmed up the tortillas. She puts butter into a pan. And then you fry the tortillas up just a little bit, enough to get them flexible to where you can bend them and make a burrito out of them. And then you put the stuff in there and you wrap it up like a burrito. And then we used the other secret ingredient, which is the Cholula green pepper sauce.
Delicious.
It was amazing. And we ate those burritos, and we finished the White Lotus, episode 7, the finale. And it was tremendous. It was fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there is an actor, and we should have looked his name up before we started live streaming. There's an actor in the White Lotus season 2. And he's an Italian actor, and he's in the Sopranos. It's Tony's nephew, right? Is that the character he plays? Tony's nephew.
I think so.
And for whatever reason, I don't know his name, but we're gonna take
Michael Imperioli.
Michael Imperioli?
Yep.
Okay. So Michael Imperioli, he's in the White Lotus. So that got us to think, you know what, we should watch The Sopranos, because I've never gotten through. I think I watched the first 3 episodes, first 3 or 4 episodes throughout my life of The Sopranos. I missed out on it. I slept on it. I really did miss out on the whole phenomenon. And it's widely regarded as the beginning of the golden age of television. So I've heard people say The Shield and Sopranos, and then you got Breaking Bad a year after The Sopranos ended. You got The Walking Dead. You got all of these great shows that started to come out, and this is where there was more attention put on the writing of these shows. They let the writers really be the showrunners, and they gave them the creative freedom, I think, and the creative power. And I think it's what took these shows to the next level. And we got and it's also the time where film actors, actors that it used to be that there were TV actors and then there were actors on film on the big screen, little screen and big screen. And the paths didn't really cross that often, if ever. I don't really remember a big screen actor going to TV. I might be wrong about that, but it really started to happen during this time. And also you had True Detective, which was unbelievable how great that was. So yeah, we finished The White Lotus and we started The Sopranos. So now here we are. We're on this journey of binge watching The Sopranos.
Tell them about the beautiful painting in that Italian restaurant in Sopranos, which happened to be the same spot.
Yes, a magical thing. This really, it was really exciting. Pardon me while I take a drink. This is a Maker's Mark right here. This is our favorite whiskey. We've tried several different ones.
Some of them are deadly.
Yeah, there's a difference, which we're learning. There's a difference between bourbon and rye whiskey, right? Mm-hmm. Scotch. We've been trying all the different ones, and we are bourbon fans. We are definitely bourbon people. And we tried this Bullet brand rye whiskey, and it knocked us out. We were dead. We were literally dead, and it was devastating. But anyways, back to
this will be the day that I die. That's that song.
my Miss American. Wait, is it Miss American Pie or This American Pie? Drove my Chevy to the levee, but the levee was dry. And good old boys drinking whiskey and rye. Singing, this will be the day that I die. Yeah, because the rye makes you feel fucking dead.
That's terrible.
It's poisonous. But the bourbon, we feel good whenever we drink it. So was it episode 2 or episode 1 of The Sopranos?
I think it was episode 1.
Okay.
Maybe.
So I don't remember where was Tony at. He walked past this.
They were in a restaurant.
Yeah, okay. He was in a restaurant. He walked past this large painting. This painting is like, what would you say? It was like 10 feet long or something. It was a big painting. So he walked past it, and I commented that I was like, oh, that painting is that's a painting of the scenery of White Lotus, right? And then they revealed more of the painting, and there was a volcano. And we're like, oh, there's a volcano. Like, there's a volcano in the White Lotus. And it was just an exciting thing, an exciting synchronicity. We matched these things up in our heads. You got Michael Imperioli, or whatever his name is, right? You got the same actor from The Sopranos, and you got a painting that has the scenery from the White Lotus, which is interesting. It's kind of like like The Sopranos is prophesying, or kind of like foreshadowing a future show. Well, I know that's not true, but that's fun to think of that, right? It's kind of, excuse me.
There's the same actor in it, so there is some
Yeah,
connection.
HBO has not been. I don't think HBO has ever disappointed me. I think that these HBO shows are fantastic, and there's a certain vibe to them, right? There's like this. I don't know what it is. It seems like that everybody is just really into what they're doing. You know, uh, the whole production is beautiful of these shows, right? We're watching Sopranos and we're thinking like, this holds up. You know, this show is that we're watching this season. This came out in 1999. That's 23 years ago. That's a lifetime ago, and it really does hold up. You know, there's certain technology things that are different, of course. You know, that Tony's daughter is using this like old old school fucking computer.
You've got mail.
Yeah, it even had that part in it, right? Like the AOL voice. Um, but this show really does hold up. It really is fun to watch. It's interesting, and it's really nice to get like this, you know, this psychological, this psychoanalyst, this what would you call it? This therapy session that Tony has with his therapist, and the things that she uncovers from what he's telling her, and that's really interesting. They stop to do those scenes every once in a while, like every episode. And you know, of course, you got the violence, you got the male toxicity, all the great things that we love, all the things that we long for, right? Why are we torturing ourselves nowadays, right? Why are we trying to get rid of male toxicity in these shows? We need to express that still, right? We need to really do that.
Definitely.
So, do you have anything you want to tell the people, Kathleen?
Mm. The people.
The people watching.
Yeah.
We don't have anybody live, right?
No, we don't.
You know what? We probably pick the worst times to go live.
Probably. People are getting off of work. They're driving. They're going
Yeah.
to pick up their kids. They're pissed off because their coworker did something dumb, and their boss was a jerk to them all day. So this is the time that they're leaving work.
They're leaving work. Yeah, they don't have time to get on their phone and watch a live stream, especially from someone they don't know. But you will know me eventually. Oh yeah, you're gonna get to know me really well. Probably a little bit more than you would like to know about me. I'm gonna tell you all the dirty secrets. I'm gonna reveal all of them eventually.
And there's a lot.
I am this onion, and these videos just peel the layers back from the onion, and you just get closer to. You think you're getting closer to the core, but there's just another layer, right? And you peel back that layer, and you're like, oh, well, obviously this will be the last layer. You peel that back, there's just more layers. It never stops. You're never gonna get to the last layer.
Not with you.
But there's so many dirty secrets under all of those layers. Yes. I'll take this time to shill for my album that I released last month. Excuse me.
Jesus.
That I released last month. It's called Dark Energy. It is an instrumental jazz.
Sexy.
Yeah, you think it's sexy?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, thank you. It's experimental. The sounds are experimental. I play every instrument on it. I played live drums on it. I played electric bass guitar. I played live keyboards, percussion. I sing a little bit on it. Not as much as on my new stuff. I sing predominantly. I sing and rap on every song on my new stuff. But this was when I was doing like more instrumental music. And this was the time when I was listening to a lot of jazz. I was listening to a lot of fusion stuff from the late 60s and 70s into the 80s. I was listening to Weather Report, Mahavishnu Orchestra, Return to Forever, Miles Davis, and I would go back all the way back to John Coltrane, Sun Ra, these spaced out, crazy pioneers of sound, and they were using the platform of jazz to expand uh, experimental music, and improvisation. And I was really obsessed for like many years. And I listened to a lot of that, and I was influenced to make my own stuff uh, in that same expression and that same genre of music. So I made a whole album's worth. I actually made 3 albums worth, but the one that you can find right now for streaming is called Dark Energy. You could go to it's up. I released it last month, but it hasn't gotten to all of the online stores yet. But it is on iTunes and Apple Music. So I will provide the link in the description below, and then you can help me out. You could support me. You could buy it. You could pay for it and download it and help me out, and help me to keep being an artist. Help me to keep creating, and I would appreciate that. What else do we have on the list to talk about? We're just hanging out in time and space. We can talk about whatever we want.
Mm-hmm. Living our best life
Mm-hmm.
forever.
We are living our best life forever. And it only gets better.
Mm-hmm.
We say that we're living our best life, and then we outdo it each day that comes to us. Each time the sun rises, we live a better life each day, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we do that through the power of perception and manifestation, positive thinking, right? And then you put the work in. You realize that you need to put the work in, and you realize that you're good enough to put the work in, right? You silence all the negative self-talk, and then you start creating. You start creating, and you do that. You don't just create, you release that to the world. And that is one of the secret truths that I learned, was that you need to make things consistently and release them, give that to the world, so that you can fulfill your purpose on earth. And I believe that's definitely my purpose, is to make things and give them to the world. And regardless of what happens, regardless of how many people receive it or whatever, the criticism.
Yeah, and not spend decades on one thing.
Right.
Because I think we all get trapped in that, where some just spend their whole lives on one artistic endeavor and they never release it to the world.
Right.
Because it's not perfect in their mind.
Yeah.
That's the trap.
It's not perfect, and they don't want to face the intelligent people out there that will see them for the fraud that they are. They have what's that called? It's imposter syndrome.
Mm-hmm.
You get the imposter syndrome, and you like, all of these voices stop you. Nobody's telling you to not make something, right? It's yourself. It's your own voices. So I always have to get past my own negative self-thought just to turn this camera on, just to do something. And then Kathleen helps me. It's good to have somebody in your life to help you, to encourage you to go forward, and to kind of pressure you and say, like, you need to do something. You need to create something today. You need to make something. And it's good to have somebody in your life like that. As long as you both have an agreement that you're both okay with, I'm okay with her pressuring me. She's okay with telling me to make something, encouraging me to do it. So,
Mm-hmm.
So we turn this camera on, and a lot of it's random, and I go into, we kind of have a format with this show, right? We do what we've been watching, what we've been cooking or eating. And then we go into like inspirational talk, and then I tell you about my my program that you can buy for $20 a month. I'm just kidding. There's no program.
$20.99.
$20.99. You have to put the 99 on there as a salesperson. If you want to be a successful salesperson, you got to put the 99 on there at the end. So it's like, oh, I'm not paying $21. I'm paying $20.99, right? Like that penny means anything. I don't know who thought of that. It's ridiculous.
Ridiculous and genius all at once.
Yeah, definitely. There's all these courses and all of this shit. I'm just here to, kind of empty my brain out onto a YouTube video. Just kind of release a part of my head, part of my inner world, and a part of my, excuse me, Jesus, a part of my outer world, part of my personal life, and kind of share that with the world and not be afraid to share that with the world. And I hope that you're not afraid to share a drink with me.
Or you better be afraid to share a drink.
Share a drink?
Mm-hmm.
Why?
With you.
Why would they be afraid?
Because they might learn the secrets of the world. And that could be scary.
Yeah, it could be scary, but that's the kind of scary that you need, right? You need to take risks, and you need to pour a drink with me wherever you're at in the world right now, whatever time that you view this, whatever time frame you're in, whatever day that you're on. Obviously, no one's watching us live. We live stream. No one has joined us, right?
Right. Not at all. Nobody has.
So the people do not, I'm probably not going at the proper times to do this. But eventually I'll figure that out. And it's almost like whenever the spirit strikes you, you got to do things. I probably couldn't wait for the proper time frame to do it. I've looked that up before. What are the proper times to stream or to post on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube? What are the proper times, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I've looked at some of those and I've tried it out. Sometimes I'll try it out, but I think the thing that matters the most is that we're doing something right now. And we are filming a live stream. And I just hope that we get better at it and we just keep doing it and we just stay consistent. So what else? What else could we talk about? What else is there? Is there more than this? How long have we been going?
Nearly 30 minutes. So
let's get a full 30 minutes in there.
We've got 28 minutes and 19,
okay.
20 seconds.
Yeah, well, I could fill you guys in on this. Here's a little bit of news. My personal life. I got a flat tire the other day.
Oh, yes.
I woke up and went and looked in the front yard in my driveway, and my tire was flat. I don't know how it happened, but it was a slow leak because I was able to use my little air compressor that hooks up to the cigarette lighter and air it up.
I was mad at you, so I stabbed it. Just kidding.
You cost me money, woman. So I got the flat. It was on a Sunday, and my car sat there the whole day flat. And when I woke up Monday, I thought about it. It was the only thing on my mind when I woke up, and I didn't want to do it. And there was a little voice in my head that's like, you can put it off. Do it on Tuesday, right? Just get it fixed on Tuesday. Who cares? Fix it on Tuesday. And I said, nope. And got out of bed. I got dressed, which is a
rarity.
Yeah, but it's one of the secrets that I told you guys from one of the other past videos. I told you, if you want to be successful in life, if you want to get things done, right when you get out of bed, get dressed. Get dressed immediately. Get dressed before you have your coffee. So that's what I did. I got dressed. I made the bed, and I aired up my tire. as best as I could, and I drove it to the tire shop. Luckily, there's a tire shop right down the street, and I got the tire fixed. And I bought a brand new tire for $100. Maybe if you're watching this video, you could, if you're compelled to comment and let me know what are the tire prices in your area. What's a new tire cost you, right? So I got the new tire, I got it fixed, and I was able to relax. I was able to just forget about it. It took less than an hour to figure the whole thing out, to get the whole thing fixed. So that was one of the new things.
I had all these plans that I would clean when you were gone doing that. I had plans that the whole place would be sparkling, but it was really, you were so quick. I was shocked how fast the
Oh, wow.
the whole process took. So it wasn't sparkling yet.
Yeah. Well, that's okay. I'm glad it took a small amount of time. I really love the moments of binging these TV shows and spending time with you and hanging out, and it's just a fun life.
Beautiful.
It's beautiful. I am on a vacation from my problems, as Bob Wiley is in the great film What About Bob, which is directed by Frank Oz. Frank Oz is the man who does the voice of Yoda. I find that very bizarre that the voice of Yoda, the guy that does that, also directs movies. That's fantastic, right? So
Maybe next time I can tell everybody about my time that I handed sausage to
yes.
Bill Murray.
Yes, that's a great story. I love that story. That could be in a movie with Bill Murray in it.
It's something that I would redo, and I would do it differently next time. If I could hand him sausage again, I'd do it differently.
Well, maybe you'll get a chance to hand him sausage again.
I hope so.
You never know what the universe will bring you. And with that, we will bid you farewell. And I will thank you for joining us once again. I appreciate your viewership, your listenership, your presence from the other dimension that you're watching this from, through your little black square. And I would hope that you would join us again, and that you would join us every time, and that you would always find us, and that you would find value in this video that you're watching, and that it would make you feel good, help you to pass the time, or whatever it is, whatever you get out of it. I'm happy about that. So I thank you. And until next time, goodbye, good night, and may the Lord bless you and keep you.